Good morning, everybody. The time now is 11:10, and I apologize for the wait. We're now going to begin our public meeting, and I'll start with the chair's remarks. First, I want to welcome our new commission member, Commissioner William Aguado, who's joining us from the Bronx. He was appointed by the mayor and then confirmed by City Council on May 27th, 2015. Commissioner Aguado has been a fixture in the Bronx since 1972 and is regarded as a leading cultural and community activist. Up until 2011, he was the executive director of the Bronx Council of the Arts and now is on the boards of Bronx Works and FOCO and Bronx River Arts Center. Commissioner Aguado graduated from Hunter College with a degree in sociology and received his master's from Fordham University, also in sociology and education. And in May 2014, from Lehman College awarded him an honorary doctorate of the arts. In honor of his mother, he's established the Josephine Aguado Scholarship Fund at Hostas Community College to help support single mothers who maintain a B average. And for us, one of the greatest contributions Commissioner Aguado will bring to the commission is that he's a lifelong passenger. He does not drive or own a car, and he, like so many New Yorkers, relies on our taxi and car services to get around the city. So his passenger perspective is a welcome addition to the commission. On the staff level, we have two announcements. Dawn Miller, who served the agency with distinction as our Executive Director for Strategic Planning, has been promoted to Chief of Staff. Dawn started working for the TLC in 2011 as an analyst and has been a valuable asset to the agency ever since, so congratulations, Dawn. And on a sadder note, on June 5th, someone who I'm sure everybody in this room knows in one way or another, our Director of External Affairs, Justine Johnson, and I don't think she made it today. Oh, she's there. There she goes. Hi, Justine. Left after over 5 years with the TLC to be the Assistant Vice President for Government and Community Relations for the Economic Development Corporation, where she will be working to improve the city's ferry operations throughout the 5 boroughs. Justine always said that the TLC was her first real job, and from day one until the end, she's played an essential role in the agency's communications with the industry. She's organized and participated in countless outreach and community events, emceeing information fairs, making base and garage visits, attending town hall, community board meetings, and keeping peace wherever she goes, which is not an easy task. Sometimes she uses a bullhorn, but she gets it done. Her dedication to helping our industry partners navigate our rules and policies, as well as working through issues the industry has had with those rules and policies, will be very difficult to top, and our next director will certainly have big shoes to fill. While it's sad to see her go, we wish her nothing but success in her new position at the Economic Development Corporation, and we're proud to have been the launching pad for what I'm sure will be a long and successful career. So goodbye and good luck, Justine. We hope you come back. On June 9th, with the invaluable assistance of the New York City Council Speaker, Melissa Mark Viverito, and New York City media, we launched a public service announcement, which features many TLC staff members, by the way. If you look closely, you'll recognize almost all of them. A public service announcement highlighting the issue of service refusal. The goal is to raise awareness of the passenger's right to with respect to service refusal by visually portraying examples of certain refusal types. The PSA can be seen and heard throughout the city's fleet of more than 20,000 yellow and borough taxis and is also available on TLC's website. And like some of our other PSAs, such as the Buckle Up PSA, which is now playing as part of movie trailers, and our Drive Like Your Family Lives Here video, which is now part of many agencies' curriculum, we hope that this PSA will be able to be distributed in a wider audience, not just inside cabs where people are already getting service. We'd like to see people that are still outside of the cabs and haven't gotten service an opportunity to see it. This month, we also began our black box pilot, and on June 2nd, with Council Member Jimmy Vaca, we launched our Vehicle Safety Technology Pilot Program. It's an extension of our Vision Zero action plan, and we hope that it brings about increased awareness to safe driving, and there's nothing like watching yourself drive to understand what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. The pilot's goal is to explore the ways in-vehicle technology can be helped to improve driver safety. The initial pilot participants are Ion Fleets and Mobileye, and they've installed their systems in the total of 18 vehicles, green, yellow taxis, and FHVs, and there's more vehicles in the pipeline to have the technology installed. It'll allow us to evaluate the unique driving conditions found in the urban settings, such as New York City, and their effects on the for-hire industry. So we'll keep you posted on more as we learn more through this pilot. We expect it to run for at least a year, and it's still open, so if there's other technology providers that would like to join, please contact us. We'd like to have as many as possible. And on June 25th, later this week, we'll hold our first yellow taxi accessibility drawing. This is the first concrete step, I think, in furtherance of our commitment to make the taxi service really available to all of New York, and that is by making it 50% accessible. We're doing about 40% accessibility on the green taxi side. But on June 25th, we will start identifying those medallion owners whose unrestricted independent medallions are scheduled for conversion between January 1st, 2016 and January 31st, 2016. And I think that this is going to be a huge public statement of the city's commitment, but there's a lot more work to be done as the for-hire industry generally grows, then the ability for people to get service when there's not accessible vehicles in every sector is highlighted. So we're focusing and have mandated in the yellow and green, but there's lots of work to be done in the future on the rest of the black and the livery car sectors to make sure that all passengers have access to those vehicles. And finally, we published proposed fare and lease cap rules, so I'd like everybody, if they're interested, to take a look, and we welcome your comments. They allow Dove leasing to be spread out over more than 3 years, and that would result in a lower cost for drivers. It allowed drivers to be paid out in non-cash methods, so long as there's no fees to those drivers for the payouts, and provide an evening rush hour surcharge for JFK trips. Additionally, based on a lot of the outreach that we did in coming up with these rules, we got a lot of feedback from drivers who said they'd like more flexibility in general in the shift structure that we currently have. So we expect to be putting together some pilot proposals that would increase tremendously the amount of flexibility drivers have in determining what hours they work in yellow taxis. And we will also be in another one of our future projects is looking at our overall penalty structures with licensees to determine that they're equitable and fair across the board. So we look forward to giving you updates on that project as well. And with that, we'll move to adoption of the minutes. All in favor of adopting the minutes from the May 2015 Commission meeting? Aye. And with that, the minutes are unanimously adopted. And next we have base applications for determination.
Good morning. My name is Christopher Tormey, Director of Applicant Licensing with the Taxi and Limousine Commission. This month we have 3 renewals and 1 denial for recommendation.
All in favor of accepting licensing's recommendation? Aye. Aye.
Thank you.
On the agenda are proposed rules to set the renewal fees for SHL permits. These rules were originally published in the City Record on March 23, 2015, with a comment deadline of April 22, 2015. A public hearing was held on these rules on May 28th. No written comments were received. Following the hearing and based on feedback, the staff recommended lowering the proposed renewal fee from $1,200 to $900 for a 3-year renewal term. As local law requires, the final rule for commission action was posted on the TLC's website on June 17th and sent to the commissioners on that date. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passed unanimously. Next on the agenda.
So next on the agenda, we have a vote on app rules, which we had a very long hearing on last month. Chris will go through some of the technicalities required to put on the record before we vote, but I just wanted to give a very brief summary of what the public gets out of these rules. Number one, we made some modifications based on feedback. One of them was we modified the modification section. We streamlined it and we changed it from a pre-approval to a notice. And on that issue, since the modification section lives in the green taxi world and the yellow taxi world and in e-hail and in TPAP and in LPAP, we're going to make the similar changes to the modification sections in those rule packages, because if we are lessening the requirements on modifications in one sector, we're going to do the same for all of the sectors. Some of the other issues that were raised were drivers unable to cancel. We made no change to that section after explaining on the record that there was nothing about the rule that prohibited drivers from canceling. Testing devices, again, there was some criticism that we were asking for devices to be provided with us. We made a slight change just to clarify that that just meant make those devices available. And we also restylize the rules so they're tech agnostic, because our point is not to go after one particular technology. Things change quicker than we do. It's to provide baseline consumer protections and driver safety requirements that are in place regardless of what the latest and greatest technology being used in the cars is. What did the rules provide for the public, which I think is what is of greater concern, is they do provide requirements on driver safety. The apps must be locked down when the vehicle's in motion. Passengers getting receipts need to get itemization on those receipts so that they know what the charges, line by line, the charges that they're being charged. App companies must report to us if there's a security breach. Those that engage in surge pricing must provide the passenger an opportunity to get a fair estimate in dollars and cents so they understand what that surge price will be up front before the ride begins. Rates must be displayed for all customers so you know before you begin your ride what the rates you would be charged. Passengers must be informed about how to complain directly to the TLC and be told that only the TLC can suspend or revoke a driver's license. A app platform may kick you off a platform, but if the customer really wants the driver not to drive again professionally because of something they've done, they need to contact us, and that's information the apps must provide the customers. All bases must have privacy and security policies if they collect geolocation and private data. Apps must provide wheelchair accessible vehicles to those customers that request them. So there's got to be an option on the app to request a wheelchair accessible vehicle. And all apps must have a customer service contact. It can be an email or a telephone, but you've got to let the consumer have an avenue for redress and contacting the base or the app directly.
Thank you. So these rules were published in the City Record on April 24th, 2015, with a comment deadline of May 25th, 2015, and a public hearing was held on these rules on May 28th, 2015. So, yeah. Numerous written comments were received, all of which have been provided to the commissioners. Following the publication and based on comments and feedback, the staff has recommended the following changes in addition to those already highlighted by the commissioner. These include removing provisions for liability for associated bases, removing requirements that associated bases of different types must create a way to request a specific class of service, removing the technology fee, provide for identifying information and booking tools, providing for up to 2 additional devices in a vehicle which must be activated only by one touch or voice while the vehicle is in motion, clarified that bases cannot dispatch drivers waiting in airport passenger pickup areas, and reducing the app bond to $5,000, and finally to clarify that the provisions of the new Chapter 77 apply only to non-base booking tools which are publicly available and have a passenger interface. As local law requires, the final rule for commission action was posted on the TLC's website on June 17th, 2015, and was sent to the commissioners on that date. Any discussion, or are you ready to vote? Okay, all in favor? The rules pass unanimously. Next on the agenda for both a public hearing.
Mr. Wilson, before you move on to the next topic of the agenda, I just want to make a quick comment on the rules that you just voted on unanimously. Although I don't recall hearing any testimony on the topic of accessibility and these rules at the hearing, the extensive hearing on the 28th, I know we all are anxious, and certainly I'm very anxious to hear on how any rule or anything we do affects accessibility. I just think it's important to note that we do have an ongoing accessibility committee which considers accessibility issues, and together with the Commission's overall commitment to the issue, I think we're doing our very best. But in the last 24, 48 hours, I know I've received letters asking that we not vote today because of the impact of these FHE app rules on accessibility, and I, for one, don't see any nexus from these rules codifying and regulating the apps to accessibility of any kind, and I just see the letter as a tactic or strategy to avoid a vote, and I'm very comfortable with the rules.
Thank you, Commissioner Caron. Next on the agenda for a public hearing are proposed rules regarding taxicab medallion agents and their duties, including to remit taxes, surcharges, and other funds collected on behalf of owners, and to establish penalties, including licensing suspension for agents who fail to do so. Daniel Godden from the legal staff is going to give a presentation for the commissioners.
Rules that govern agents. Oh, sorry. Good morning. I'll try that again. I'm going to take a moment to go over proposed changes to the rules that govern agents. Agents assume the responsibilities of medallion owners when they are hired to manage medallions. Two responsibilities that the agent assumes are: one, the collection of taxes owed to the MTA, and two, the collection of surcharges owed to the TLC. For example, the surcharges for the Taxicab Improvement Fund. At times, the agent does not pay the taxes or surcharges owed, and medallions are suspended or are not renewed as a result of this non-payment. The medallion owner often reasonably assumed that the agent, who did collect the money and has the legal responsibility to pay, paid the money owed to New York State or the TLC. Current rules do not provide a way for the TLC to penalize the agent for his or her failure to pay money that is already collected and due. The proposed rule accomplishes two goals. First, it will prevent the suspension or non-renewal of medallions caused by agent non-payment. And two, it will provide the TLC with tools to incentivize the agents to pay taxes and surcharges that they owe on time. The proposed rule will provide the following tools to the TLC to incentivize agent compliance. One, clarified agent responsibility to remit collected funds. Two, added penalties as a possible consequence for non-compliant agents, such as suspension until compliance under Rule 6308E, and fines. A $500 to $1,500 fine for improper medallion management while the agent is suspended under Rule 6305D3, and a $1,000 fine for failure to remit taxes and surcharges collected on behalf of the medallion owner under Rule 63-11G. Third, a new requirement that the suspended agent notify owners of medallions it manages of the agent's suspension. Finally, a requirement that the agent applying for a renewal license must first remit all collected taxes and surcharges before being renewed as an agent. We expect the new rules to have the following impact. Most agents and medallion owners pay taxes and fees on time and will be unaffected by these changes to the rules. Agents that were not paying on time now have greater incentive to do so, and medallion owners will be less likely to face penalties caused by their agent's non-payment.
Thank you. We have two speakers listed for today's rules. The first speaker is Gary Farber.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Gary Farber. I represent ABA Local Transportation. Happy belated Father's Day to the gentlemen of the commission. Okay, once again, we're here talking about proposed rules for medallion brokers. We understand the advantages the system has while having some kind of accountability through these brokers. I'm here to just advise you that the same system is needed on the green taxi side. I represent over 650 green taxis or street SHLs. Half of my fleet is wheelchair accessible. While we're going to focus on accessibility, okay, the best way to start to be able to pick up people who are in need of accessible transportation is to worry about the vehicles that are already on the road. Okay, I believe that brokers will be able to centralize that system and bring some kind of accountability to TLC and have more responsibility to put these cars on the road and actually manage the pickups. I know that there is some legislation or some kind of discussion that's going on about making the system happen available to the green side. We just want to implore you to speed that up and bring some kind of semblance to the green taxis, because right now there is no semblance. And that is the reason why there's a lot of taxis that are standing in parking lots, that are wheelchair accessible taxis are standing in parking lots and not on the road. And if we're going to be talking about making these cars available to people who need them, I think that's one way to ensure that these cars are actually on the road. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker listed is Edith Prentice. Thank you. So that's it for the speakers. Do any of the commissioners have any questions or comments? Are we ready to vote? Okay, let me just say, these rules were published in the City Record on May 6, 2015, with a comment deadline of June 5, 2015. No written comments were received. As local law requires, the final rule for commission action was posted on the TLC's website on June 17th and sent to the commissioners on that date. All in favor? Aye. And so the rules pass unanimously.
Okay, with that, this is the end of our commission meeting. The time now is 11:32. Thank you.